Hello my motor enthusiasts. You're tuned into F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hi there Enzo Watts, it seems Ferrari's having a bit of a tough time this season, isn't it?
Absolutely, William. Charles Leclerc finished 9th in practice at the Dutch Grand Prix, nearly 3/4 of a second slower than George Russell, who topped the session.
That's quite a gap. What's going wrong with Ferrari?
They've been grappling with their car setup. Mid-season developments haven't quite panned out, causing unexpected bouncing, which really disrupts handling.
And I heard there were more issues for Carlos Sainz as well.
Spot on. Sainz faced a gearbox problem and completed only a few laps in the second practice. He's definitely under pressure to perform in FP3 to catch up.
Rain during qualifying might be their only silver lining then.
Indeed, Leclerc is pinning his hopes on a wet qualifying to shake up the order. But even he admits, the performance gap might be too large for any miracles.
Tough times at Ferrari. Sounds like they have their work cut out for them.
Hey everyone. You already know me, this is Enzo.
And this is William, at your service.
Join us each time right here on F1 Motor Fever podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications to stay up to speed with all our episodes. Full throttle. So, diving right back into it, Charles Leclerc described his day at Zandvoort as tough, but somewhat expected, given the struggles Ferrari has been facing recently.
Yes, he mentioned the car was not only off the pace but also dealing with the notorious bouncing issues again, which they thought they had moved past.
Indeed. Despite the team's efforts with mid-season updates aimed at solving these problems, it sounds like there's still quite a bit of work to be done.
And with other teams like Mercedes and McLaren showing strong performances, it places even more pressure on Ferrari to catch up.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Leclerc is hoping for rain during qualifying. Thinks it might give them a chance to close the gap, though he admits the gaps are currently too big for any dramatic changes.
That's quite an admission. And what about Carlos Sainz? Any updates there?
Frustration continues there, too. Sainz missed most of the second practice session due to a gearbox issue, which only adds to Ferrari's challenges.
Sounds like a crucial weekend ahead for Ferrari. They'll be hoping for some of that rain and perhaps a bit of luck on their side.
Yes, they will indeed need all the help they can get. Let's keep an eye on how they handle these hurdles moving forward. Moving on to Carlos Sainz, he had a tough time at Zandvoort too. He was really limited in track time, managing only 3 laps in the first practice due to the weather, and then a gearbox issue cut short his second practice.
That's really unfortunate timing, especially when the team needed to make up for lost time. He mentioned feeling like it's almost a sprint weekend, with only one practice session left to get everything dialed in.
Yes, he's got to hit the ground running in the third practice. He's aiming to immediately find the pace and hopefully, despite the setbacks, deliver a solid performance.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, especially with the pressure on to perform well in such a tight window. The team certainly have their work cut out at Zandvoort.
Absolutely. It's shaping up to be quite the test of resilience and adaptability for the drivers and their teams. Let's see who manages to take the spotlight this weekend. William, what's the latest from the online fanbase?
Right, let's see what's stirring up the pot today. Ivan Coffey commented, quote, Jack Doohan promoted to full-time seat to complete 2025 driver lineup for BWT Alpine F1 team, unquote.
That's quite the headline. What's the reaction like?
Well, Sunny Life chimed in with a quip, quote, nobody expects the Australian Inquisition, unquote. And Jimmy the Mini added, quote, I for one welcome our Antipodean overlords. I'd like to remind them that I can be helpful in rounding up others to toil in their underground Vegemite caves, unquote.
Ha! Vegemite caves? That's a new one.
Indeed, and Kelpie from Ounce wasn't too pleased, saying, quote, thou shalt not speak of the Vegemite in vain, unquote. Meanwhile, This Took Forever 22 joked about needing help to keep the emus out of those mythical Vegemite caves.
Sounds like the fans are having a field day with this news.
They certainly are. Petrify Gwent noted that we now have 4 Aussie F1 drivers, and a conversation unfolded about whether Liam Lawson counts as an Aussie or a Kiwi, leading to some playful banter about New Zealand's status in relation to Australia.
Always a bit of rivalry there. Anything else catch your eye?
Oh, there's a bit about using unusual critters as prime weapons, like drop koalas and box jellyfish, thanks to user Wake Up Dreaming F1. Surely there's more. Preferred the combat wombat, and Earth's demise brought up the emus, famous for their military prowess, apparently.
Blimey, the imagination runs wild on the internet. Thanks for that colourful roundup, William. Thanks for tuning into F1 Motor Fever podcast today. We navigated through the twists and turns of the latest Formula One developments, discussing team strategies and the thrilling unpredictability of this season. We truly appreciate you joining us. Please consider subscribing and activating notifications to stay updated with our content. Your engagement, comments, shares, likes, it all helps us grow and improve. Spread the word, whether it's over a casual chat or a social media shout-out.
Absolutely, and remember, good things come to those who wait, but better things come to those who tune into our podcast regularly. We've got plenty more exciting content on the horizon, so keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. Our next episode promises more laughs, more insights, and, who knows, maybe even more drop koalas.
Until then, we're grateful for your time and enthusiasm. It's what fuels our passion and keeps this show running.
So, don't be strangers. We're looking forward to having you with us next time. It's always a pleasure to share our love for the sport with such an amazing audience.
Pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road, our channel's content is pure gold. See you next time on F1 Motor Fever podcast.